Hello, and welcome to the Divorced Dadvocate, divorce support for dads, where we help dads create a healthy and less traumatic divorce. My name is Jude Sandoval, and I'm your host. I created this podcast and the Divorced Advocate community as a result of my own high conflict divorce, and because you as a dad deserve all the resources necessary to thrive through this challenging time. I encourage you to check out our website at thedivorcedadvocate.com, where there are resources that correspond to this episode, as well as free access to our membership community, where you will find live meetings, free workshops and courses, private discussion groups, and more. And now, on to this week's episode. Hello and welcome, awesome dads, to the show. Thank you for tuning in again this week. And I'm very excited because we are hitting another milestone with this 208th episode, which means we are completing our fourth year here at the Divorced Advocate podcast, which is just an amazing blessing. And every year on this anniversary, I try to share with you some takeaways that I've had from the previous year, some lessons. Once in a while, typically the last 2 years, I've had a panel discussion around that. But this year I just went through and I wanted to share the 5 biggest takeaways from the past year for myself and for you divorced dads. So that's going to be our topic today. But first, as usual, let's welcome our newest members to the Divorced Advocate community. That is Alejandro, Jonathan, Keith, KT, and Courtney. Courtney, yes, we do have some women that are part of the community that are supporting either friends or family members that are divorced or divorcing dads, and so that is a huge blessing. Definitely, if you have somebody that is a female in your life that is supporting you through this difficult and challenging time. If you're not a member of the Divorced Advocate community, check out the website at thedivorcedadvocate.com. We have resources for you wherever you are at. There's free resources all the way through to paid coaching resources that you can utilize. So check that out. There's the divorce quiz, which I always talk about. That is an awesome resource for determining where you're at in your divorce process compared to tens of thousands of others who have gone through and taken the quiz, as well as the app that you can download with some resources for working through different things during your divorce. So check it out at thedivorcedadvocate.com and become a member and get involved. We had another great group meeting on Saturday that the recording will be uploaded to the membership site. It is probably, in the feedback I get, it is the most beneficial part of the membership community is being able to share with the other guys, not only to get support, but also to get feedback and to just know and understand more of the process and have other guys that are helping and supporting you through the process. Do not be shy to ask for the help, and do not be shy about getting the support that you deserve during this difficult and challenging time. So check it out at the Divorced Advocate, at thedivorcedadvocate.com. We're continuing to add more resources every year, and we're just going to continue to ramp it up again for this next 52 episodes and this next year of the podcast and the community. Okay, so my 5 biggest takeaways from the past year for divorced dad. And as you know, navigating these challenges of divorce is never easy, especially for us dads, when we're finding ourselves balancing new roles, responsibilities, emotions, that entire roller coaster of divorce. And so this past year has offered some really noteworthy examples from public figures who have faced some similar struggles. And these high-profile stories provide some great lessons that can help us divorced dads as we go through our own journeys. So here are 5 big takeaways, my biggest takeaways from the past year for divorced dads, utilizing some insights drawn from recent events and public figures. I don't typically talk about current events and maybe Hollywood or or public figures that are going through divorce. I am this time going to share some of them. I'm not going to get into specific details, but I'm going to break this down into the lesson and the takeaway that we can utilize from each one of these 5 takeaways. The first one being the first one being the Tom Brady and Gisele Bündchen example. So, I'm actually breaking this one down. So this is going to be a 2-part one. Is anybody can get a divorce, even if you are the greatest player in the biggest sporting league in the entire world, the greatest player of all time in the biggest sporting league of all time, that even Tom Brady got a divorce. And so, it can happen to everybody, and it can happen to anybody. And so the takeaway I want you, and this is why I started it with this one for you dads, is that have some compassion and some grace with yourself going through this process. I know the biggest and most difficult thing for me was the shame that I felt when I went through my divorce. And so if we can take the example of Tom Brady, who by any measurement that we might, and we don't want to measure ourselves with anybody else, but by looking at him and the quality of individual that he was, the athlete that he was, the positive role model and father figure that he seems to have been, that if he can experience divorce and go through that, then any one of us can. And so that's okay. It's okay that you're going through a divorce, and there is a life 2.0 on the other side of that. So that's 1A. The second one is prioritizing co-parenting. And the lesson is effective co-parenting can benefit your children. And so I think that both Tom Brady and Gisele Bündchen, when they finalized their divorce, and despite the split, they've really demonstrated a commitment to co-parenting their children with mutual respect. They've been a little bit tight-lipped about it. They've talked about publicly their efforts to keep their children's well-being at the forefront, emphasizing that a cooperative co-parenting relationship can provide stability and emotional security for the kids. They've also been pretty open about the differences in each of their households and how each of them parents in a different way. And so for those of us that are maybe doing more parallel parenting than co-parenting, I think that's also a good takeaway and a good example and a model that is okay as well, that sometimes you're just not going to be able to co-parent, that you will have to be parallel parenting. And dads, stick to your guns as to what you think and you feel is in the best interest of your children, and go down that route and take care of them in the way that you feel most comfortable in creating that environment for them. So that is number 1, A and B. My second biggest takeaway from the past year is maintain personal integrity. And the example I have on this one is a really high conflict divorce that's been going on, and it's seemingly been very nasty. And that's the Joe Jonas and Sophie Turner case. And the lesson that I want to emphasize out of this one is handle personal matters with dignity and respect. And their example between Joe Jonas and Sophie Turner has really highlighted the importance of handling personal disputes with grace. Both have mostly maintained a relatively private stance about their separation, choosing not to engage in public accusations or blame games. Now, the only time that this becomes difficult for them, and really for any of us, is when we end up having to do filings and we have to disclose stuff. This all becomes part of the public record. And fortunately for us who are going through it, us nobody, quote unquote, I don't want to say nobodies, we are all somebody, but those of us that are not in the public spotlight, there's nobody scrutinizing all of our motions and all of the court proceedings and hearings that are going on, which thank God, actually, right? Because that would just be another level of stress that I can't even imagine that some of these individuals have to go through. But the takeaway for us divorced dads is keep the matters as private as possible. And most definitely, and we talked about this in detail last week, avoid speaking negatively about your ex in public and or in front of your children. Having respectful behavior towards your former partner sets a positive example for your children and fosters a more amicable divorce process. So that's number 2, maintain your personal integrity. I know that is hard, especially when you're going through this stressful situations and your emotions might be all over the place. Do whatever you need to do to keep yourself in a place that you are able to handle those emotions and maintain that personal integrity. The third biggest takeaway from the past year is seeking professional help. And yeah, you're probably going to laugh at this one, but the lesson I'm using is from Kanye West. Whether you like his music, whether you don't like his music, whether you like his politics, whether you like whatever, the lesson is mental health and legal guidance are essential. So he's had a turbulent divorce from Kim Kardashian, and it's definitely underscored the complexities of what I just said, a high-stress divorce, and the importance of professional support. Now, obviously, I don't know what's going on in his life. I don't know if he has support, if he doesn't have support. I definitely hope that he does, but his erratic behavior and public outbursts were definitely a reminder of the need for mental health support, and maybe not even just mental health support, but just having support in your life in a group of people or friends or family or church or support groups like our group meetings that can help you through that divorce process. And also that you have a competent legal guidance during your divorce, because that's the second part of it. Mental health and legal guidance are essential. So the big takeaway: don't hesitate to seek professional help. And actually, I want to expand this not just to mental health and legal guidance, but financial help as well, spiritual help as well. We talk about the 4 legs of the stool: mental, emotional, physical, spiritual. You need to be surrounding yourself with either professionals or some sort of support around that. So don't hesitate to seek help. Mental health professionals provide support to manage stress and turmoil. Legal experts can navigate that complexity of the divorce proceedings, but all of it is going to help you ensure that not only your interests are protected, but that you are protected and that you are in a place to get through this process, create that life 2.0 on the backside, and develop an environment that is conducive to single parenting your kiddos in a way that is healthy and functioning and is going to help them through the process as well. So make sure to seek that professional help. Number 4 is adapt to new roles. Okay, whether or not we like it or not, our life is going to look drastically different once divorce is over compared to what it was during our marriage. So the example I have for this is I'm calling it the Kevin Costner approach. And the lesson is embrace new responsibilities with flexibility and openness. And if you've been following Kevin Costner's recent divorce, it's really illustrated the challenges of adapting to new familial roles and responsibilities. He got married after, I think, his previous divorce, and he was a little bit older. His second wife was younger, wanted to have children. He's now significantly older and still has children. But he's done just a remarkable job of publicly addressing his efforts to balance what is a phenomenal and amazing career that he's had for decades with his new responsibilities as a single father, which he's a legend as an actor, and now he's older, but also with kids and balancing that. And he's just had some tremendous recent success with his career, and then now he's doing that. And he just seems to me to be a really phenomenal example of a man who has embraced this difficult and challenging time, has been open to these new responsibilities, has been flexible, and has adapted to a new life. And so my takeaway for you is this: embrace the change that comes with divorce, because if you're going to fight it, it's going to make it harder. And now I understand that through this chaos in that time, it is difficult and uncertain, but the more that you can try to embrace and be comfortable with the uncomfortable part of this, it's going to help you post divorce. So be open to adjusting routines, taking on new roles, whether that's managing household tasks or becoming more involved in the kids' activities. Flexibility and doing it with a positive attitude can make the transition smoother for you and definitely for your children. And it's also, and all of these actually are also going to model for your children a way in which you can get through this in a positive and a healthy manner and make it less traumatic for everybody. So that's a big one. Adapt to your new role. Number 5, and the last one, is focus on personal growth. And the example I have for this is Jeff Bezos of Amazon. And the lesson is: use this time to reinvent and rediscover yourself. Now, yes, I know you're probably saying, hey, it's probably much easier to be able to reinvent and rediscover myself and go through all this if I am the richest man in the entire world and I have no worries no stress about money. Yes, this is definitely true, but his divorce from Mackenzie Scott highlighted how personal growth can be a significant part of the post-divorce journey. And since his divorce, he's focused on expanding his ventures. I think he stepped away from everyday Amazon work, and he's got into more philanthropic efforts. But he's also maintained a seemingly respectful relationship with his ex. He went through the divorce process, and he gave up quite a significant amount of wealth to her. And it doesn't seem like, again, I understand that this is relative, but it seems like he did it in a very classy way. And my takeaway for us divorce dads is: view your divorce as an opportunity for personal growth. Invest the time in your interests. That's a huge one. If you've had interests that have fallen away, get back into them. If there's interest that you're interested in and that you've been thinking about wanting to pursue, now is a great time to do that. Invest time in your career. You may be having more time, depending on what your parenting schedule is, to be able to do that. And definitely with your personal development. Some of us are going to be forced to have to deal with some of this personal development because we've got these emotions coming up, or we're wanting to reinvest some time in our spiritual development, our physical development, or whatever it might be that has waned or completely gone away. So make sure to invest that time into your personal development and rediscover yourself. Set some new goals, and I promise you, myself being now almost 11 years next month down the road, to fulfill, it's going to be a fulfilling and rewarding post-divorce life. I promise you that. So here's my conclusion. Divorce is a life-altering event that presents numerous challenges, especially for us divorced dads. So I hope that these stories of public figures like Tom Brady, Joe Jonas, Kanye West, for good or bad, Kevin Costner, and Jeff Bezos offer valuable lessons that can guide divorced dads through our own experiences. So by prioritizing co-parenting, by having grace with yourself, maintaining personal integrity, seeking the help that you deserve and that you need, adapting to new roles, and focusing on that personal growth, we can navigate our journeys with resilience and grace. Embrace these takeaways, please, not only in helping to manage the complexities of your divorce, but also to foster a healthier environment for your kiddos and a brighter future for yourself. So that's it. These are my 5 biggest takeaways from the past year for in going through, in watching some of these high-profile divorces, as well as what I've garnered from doing 52 mostly new podcasts over the past year. I really, really look forward to this next year, year 5, and another 52 podcasts, and sharing with you guys some more support for getting through this difficult and challenging time. I just want to remind you, as we go into this week, which is then again the weekend is going to be Father's Day weekend, that, gentlemen, there is a greater thing in your children's lives than your involvement. So stay strong. Whatever you might be going through in your divorce or your divorce process or divorce post-divorce, stay strong and stay committed to staying in your kiddos' life, because they absolutely, positively need you. Have an absolutely blessed time, a blessed Father's Day. If you're with your kids, if you're not with your kids, then I just pray that you'll just stay positive in knowing that still staying strong, fighting for whatever you might be fighting for, whether that's more time with them or just being able to see them, that it does make a difference, whether it seems like it now at this moment or not. Just stay strong, stay committed, and stay the course, fellas. You are stronger than you think that you are, and you can do this. So have a happy Father's Day. If you've enjoyed this, if you found some value in what I shared today, please share it far and wide. Please take a moment, give us a star rating on whatever podcast platform you're listening on. Even better, leave us a review that helps other dads really look at the podcast and want to listen to it and get immersed in it and get the support that they need. Just share the wealth, gentlemen. Thank you so much. God bless, and we'll talk to you next week. To hear the rest of this episode and access the corresponding resources, visit thedivorcedadvocate.com and become a member of our community. It's free to join and will provide you with the resources you deserve as a divorced or divorcing dad. Thank you for listening. God bless, and I'll talk with you next week.